Many months ago, as I was spending a decent amount of time on the POTA Facebook page, it was very frequent for users to be referred to the frequently asked questions section of the POTA documentation. After reading this for months myself, I decided, you know what, I'm actually going to go and look and see what the POTA FAQs actually are. And you know what? I didn't find them. They weren't there. And I mentioned that on that post, and it seemed like people stopped referring to them then, and then just started saying, well, look at the documentation. Okay, fine. So I thought it would be good to go through what Chat GPT thinks would be the top 10 POTA FAQs, most frequently asked questions. Let's hit it. Number 1, what exactly counts as a POTA activation? An activation is anytime you make 10 legitimate amateur radio contacts without using terrestrial-based repeaters, all from within a designated POTA park. You yourself and all of your equipment must be within the boundaries of the park. And I was very generic when I said 10 legitimate amateur radio contacts, because that's all it needs to be. If you've done that, you've got an activation. That's all it requires. Everyone tries to add a whole lot more. It's not there. 10 contacts, no land-based repeaters, all from within a park. Number 2, do I have to call CQ? Well, here's one of those things. Is it an activation if I don't call CQ? You do not have to call CQ. You can be totally stealth as much as you want. There's not a person on the planet that needs to know that you're doing a POTA activation. If you're within a park and you log 10 contacts without using terrestrial-based repeaters, you're good. Number 3, how much power do I need? The amount of power necessary to make the contact. Now, you'll get different answers from different people. We're coming out of solar maximum, so there's a lot of people out there saying 5 watts or 10 watts is enough, and you should always be able to activate a park with 5 or 10 watts. Now, this depends a little bit on where you're at, too. If you're east of the Mississippi, you're going to have a lot easier time activating midday with 5 or 10 watts of power. If you're on the western part of the country and maybe a day where conditions aren't quite as good, or, you know, as we're coming into solar minimum, the general conditions aren't going to be as good, you might find that you want a little bit more power. Now, if you're not in the United States, if you're not familiar with American demographics, most people live in the eastern third of the United States, from the Mississippi River east. And, you know, you can always get on 40 meters at any time of the day, it seems, and make contacts out east. Out west, it's a much different issue. A little wishy-washy on that answer there, but that's about as specific as I can get. What radio should I buy for POTA? Don't buy a radio for POTA. Most of you looking to get into this already own radios. And if you can take one of those out into the field, fantastic. Do that. If you got, you know, an old IC 7300 in your shack, and maybe it's a little inconvenient, but you can unhook it and take it into the field, that's what I would do. I would discourage you from buying new equipment to go out and try POTA for the first time. If you do have to buy something as simple and as cheap and as non-specialized as you can. If you have to get an antenna, get something that can go on multiple bands, not just one. If you gotta get a radio, get something that can do multiple things. Don't get a QRP CW only radio just to go out and try parks on the air. Unless, of course, you're already a hardcore CW activator, maybe that makes sense. But for the most part, go with what you got. And if you have to fill in, acquire equipment that's as multi-use as possible. Number 5, what's the easiest antenna for POTA? Well, if you've watched my channel at all, you probably know this answer. I like my quarter wave vertical whip. Super easy to set up. I can tune it for any band I want within its maximum, which is high in frequency as I want, down to 14 megahertz on the 20 meter band. If I want to go lower than that, I can add my Wolf River coil onto that to get into 30 and 40 and 60 meters, maybe even 80. Just give it a good ground plane. I've got 9 11-foot radials on mine, and that has always done me well. That's the simplest to me. And I've got it on my Wolf River coil tripod, so I don't have to stake anything into the ground. I don't have to guy anything. And then I hold that tripod down with some sandbags that I'll fill with rock or sand or whatever I can find on site. to hold that tripod down and keep that antenna up in any kind of wind. It's good. It works absolutely everywhere, and I can tune it for any frequency within its minimum and maximum range. To me, that makes it the simplest antenna you can get. Number 6, why can't anybody hear me? Most of the time, that's going to be due to conditions. Yes, you need to go through and check all your connections and everything and make sure, you've got everything hooked up okay. Maybe you don't have a connection all the way hooked up sometimes. But, if everything looks good and you're not making any contact, most likely it's conditions. The other thing I would have you check is VOA cap and look at the band that you're operating on and the time of day and time of year and your location and see where that signal is likely getting out. And when you see that projection, it might make sense to you why you're not hearing much. Number 7, do I need to spot myself? This is like, do I need to call CQ? This is something that I've seen people think that if they don't spot themselves, then it's not a legitimate activation. You do not need to spot yourself. You don't need to do it from a rule standpoint, and even from a logistical standpoint. In order to successfully activate, you don't need to spot yourself, especially on busy bands like 20 and 40, or maybe even 15 when the conditions are really good. Those bands are going to be busy enough. If there's other activators out there on nearby frequencies on the same band, you just go out there and call CQ. A hunter is going to find you. And just don't leave a whole lot of gaps. CQ parks on the air. Kilo Echo 0, Victor India Mike. CQ parks on the air. CQ parks on the air, just like that. Just a small gap in between for somebody to respond, but you want someone tuning by to be able to hear your voice. If you do that, you can get found most of the time. Now, if you've got a tight window, you're running more of a niche type of mode, or you're planning on using a band like 12 meters where there's not a lot of hunters, yeah, you might want to spot yourself. With a tight time window, yeah, it'd be nice to be able to spot yourself because that's going to bring hunters to you right away. So if you've only got a limited amount of time before you have to leave, you've got family waiting on you or something like that, spotting can really help. But no, you do not have to self-spot. Number 8, what bands work best for POTA? Any band that's open. I don't know if there's any particular one best band. You're going to typically have the most success on 20 and 40 meters simply because it tends to be where most people are. If you can work both of those, you can work bands in between as well. 30 will be there. You might be able to work 17 if you can work 20, but most people are on 20 and 40. That's going to help you get more contacts in your activation, or it's going to help you complete your activation quicker. Number 9, can I activate from inside my vehicle? Absolutely. As long as your vehicle is inside a POTA park, you can activate that park from within your vehicle. SOTA has a rule where you actually have to, you make your final approach to your activation location on foot to get away from the vehicle. Now, different people interpret that different ways, and that's fine. POTA doesn't care. You can be in your vehicle, and that's fine. You're still out and in a park. I've activated inside my RV a few times. It's a great way to do it. It's a nice contrast to some of these other wild hikes I take and some of these more exhaustive things that I do. It's awesome to be able to balance that with working inside the RV. And I have activated a number of times inside the truck as well. Absolutely allowed in parks on the air. And number 10, this is a good one. What if I don't get 10 contacts? So what? It's just an incomplete activation. The thing that everyone wants me to tell you right now, what everyone's screaming at their screen is, still upload your activation. If you make one contact, upload your activation, because then that hunter will get credit for hunting that park, regardless of how many contacts you get. So if you get 7 and don't upload it because that's not a success, or that will give you a failed activation and ruin your perfect record, well, what you're doing is you're preventing those 7 people from getting credit for activating or for hunting that park. And that's something that really matters. Our success rate at activating parks really doesn't matter. You are kind of hurting yourself as well, because those 7 contacts can count for awards in the future. I'm trying to get my kilo in this park right now, and all contacts count towards that, whether they're part of completed activations or not. So those 7 contacts that you got in a failed, or I like to say an incomplete activation, will count towards a kilo. They will count towards other awards. It's worth it for you to still upload those. And there you go. That's what Chat GPT thinks are the top 10 POTA frequently asked questions. I'm Mike, Kilo Echo Zero Victor India Mike. This is the Travelin Ham. See you next time. Hey folks, I'm on a mission to replace mid-roll ads with channel memberships. You can just be like my newest supporters here and become members of the channel. If I can get enough members to offset the mid-roll ads, I'll cut them out on all new videos. Join today.